When I was a kid, one of my favorite animal encounters happened at a zoo in Indiana. I was living in Ohio at the time, but we went out to Indiana to visit some family members, and all of us went to the zoo, and they had dolphins at the zoo. And I loved marine life. I always have since I was young, and I was really excited to see the dolphin show. So we were in the stadium and we were watching the show, and then they had some dolphins slide up onto the platform around their pool. The trainer said that they were going to choose some people from the audience to come down and get to touch the dolphin. They were looking all around and choosing people from the audience, and I had my hand up, and I was one of the people that they chose. So I got to go down the steps and up to the dolphin, and they told me I could put my hand on the dolphin's back. It did not feel anything like what I expected. It kind of felt like wet rubber, which was really interesting and different to me. And I was just really excited to experience touching a dolphin for the very first time. It's really exciting for kids to have the opportunity to touch animals because it involves their emotions. They can feel in awe of these animals. They can maybe be a little scared, but they can conquer that by being brave and actually touching animals that maybe they wouldn't want to touch normally. And this can also increase their compassion for animals and the environment when they can have this animal encounter. Animal encounters can be found at different zoos and aquariums and nature centers. They can be informal, such as if one of the employees or volunteers is holding an animal in the exhibit area, and when you're walking by, you just get to touch the animal. Or it can be more formal ways where you pay extra money and get a behind the scenes animal encounter and get to interact with them in ways that you wouldn't normally get to do being just a visitor to the zoo or aquarium. Animal encounters are safer ways to interact with animals than touching ones in the wild. The ones in the wild are not usually used to humans, and if they are, they can still be dangerous to humans. Although animals in a zoo or aquarium can also be dangerous, this is a more controlled environment. The animals are used to being around people, and they have keepers there who can understand what their actions mean, and they can separate people from the animals if they can see that the encounter is not going well. So I encourage you to find some animal encounters for your kids so that they can experience animals up close and get excited about all of the animals that they can see in the zoo or aquarium, and especially in their yard. I'm going to give you 3 steps that you can use for your kids to have animal encounters. First, find a location that will let you touch animals. You'll have to do a little bit of research into the zoos and aquariums, nature centers, and maybe even pet stores that are near you. In my area, I can go to the zoo and touch some animals there. There's a petting zoo there, and then also volunteers will hold animals such as snakes and other reptiles throughout the zoo. There's also a nature center that once in a while has terrapins or sea stars or a snake that people can touch. There's even a pet store in my area that had prairie dogs one day, and these were baby prairie dogs, and I was allowed to touch them. So find out what your options are and then decide if you want to do an informal visit or if you want to purchase behind the scenes where you can have a special animal encounter. The second step for you and your kids is to be brave. These animals are put in the encounters because the people taking care of them believe that it is safe to touch them. And it might be kind of scary to touch a snake for the first time or to touch another animal that maybe seems a little creepy sometimes. But for your kids, they're going to feel really good about themselves if they conquer a little bit of fear that they have in order to touch the animal. The third step is to read signs about the animals and ask questions. Often there will be signs giving more information about where the animal comes from and about its habits. And your kids can also ask the person who's handling the animal to give them more information. Encourage your kids to ask specific questions such as, where does this animal live? Or what does this animal eat? Or what time of day does this animal come out? Or is it a night creature? Your kids will walk away with confidence through their interactions with the animals and with the animal keepers. Do you want to make science fun, get your kids outside, and spend a lot less time planning lessons? Go to ei4k.com/free. That's ei4k.com/free.